Today, we talk about, woo, what a doozy this podcast has been, huh? I don't even know how long we've been doing this, but it feels like a long, excuse me, it feels like a long time. Um, I feel like I should skip ahead to this other topic. Why don't we just keep going in order? Fuck it. All right, so the very next topic is Kanye. And yeah, oh man, I have so much to say about Kanye, man. And I had this whole, again, going back to what we were just talking about, this whole romanticized daydream of like this Kanye episode I was going to have, and it was going to be epic, and we were going to talk about Kanye in multiple angles, from the fashion to the shoes to the music to the day, dope, day, dope, day. But that's going to take a lot of research and homework and stuff. And this is where I reach out to you guys, and I just ask that for a lot of different things, I may start crowdsourcing some of this stuff. Like I may start throwing out certain topics in previous episodes, for example, if we keep it in the podcast format. And I might say something like, hey, this is something I want to talk about. You guys help me out, or the few of you that are hardcore about me and this stuff, you guys feed me the articles and the sources of the content that I need to deliver, and then I'll be the one to deliver. And that way we'll kind of crowdsource this community of like people providing cited information, and I will deliver it in a almost like a fuck Jerry, fat Jewish sort of way, where instead of like purely comedy, it's like a lot of facts that we compile all together so that there's less work for me to do, but at the same time I can deliver the content that the masses want, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, back to Kanye. Whew, man, I don't know where to begin with this shit, man, because this is a tough topic, man. This is a very multifaceted topic. And to that, I say, congrats, Kanye. I feel like you got what you wanted. I feel like if I were in your shoes, this is exactly what I would want to hear some nobody talk about you. The numerous onion layers to your ish is insane, man. And someday I would love, we've been hearing lately about Joe Rogan coordinating something potentially, hopefully. I don't even know that I'm not like holding my breath for a Kanye episode on Joe Rogan. I really don't. I would not be surprised if it never happened. Let me just put it that way. But if it happens, it would be great. And the reason I bring it up is because I would love for someday for Kanye to be sitting across from me having a discussion, because I feel like I get Kanye, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not saying I agree with everything he says. I get him. I get him. And the reason I say that is because there's been a lot of times where my own words and my own visions and my own perspectives have been skewed and or misconstrued by others simply from selective listening. You know what I mean? And unfortunately for Kanye, I feel like he's a victim of too much success. DJ Khaled triggered, am I right? Suffering from success. And I feel like that's literal to Kanye, because he embodies this thing where he's instant clickbait. So like anything he says, unfortunately, the worst bits of it, or if he fucks up, or even if he didn't quote fuck up and says something, it can be misconstrued, mislabeled, and repackaged and delivered in the most clickbaity way possible for the maximum views, for the maximum clicks, for the maximum revenue of newspapers, bloggers, YouTubers, reactioners, whatever. And that's just the unfortunate truth with Kanye. And I feel like he's been a victim of that. And I'm not going to sit here and defend everything he said. I'm not going to sit here and say everything he says is the Bible, you know what I mean? I'm just here to say there's a lot of nuggets of what he says. When I actually listen to him, the source, the unfiltered, uncut source, which there's not a lot of, unfortunately, because you fucking media folks keep fucking them. But there's a lot of miscommunication on his end and a lot of misconstruement on the media end. You know what I mean? Like, you guys just fucking run with it, and I blame you guys for that. But I also blame Kanye for not understanding that this is what's happening to him, and he needs to combat that. And I feel like this is one of the main things I've talked about in the past, and we'll talk about it again, I'm sure, because I'm like really just going off the cuff with my thoughts on Kanye right now. But there's like a billion different things I want to talk about. But one thing that just came to my mind is the fact that, like, Kanye was one to complain if that's the appropriate word here, he may correct me on that, but complain about how he was not recognized by Louis Vuitton. He was not recognized by these higher end fashion houses. Yet nowadays, people are checking for Kanye more than they're checking for any of these fashion houses. So, Kanye won, you would think. But not really, because Kanye wants that acceptance, just like we all do as human beings. We want to be accepted by who we wish we were accepted by. And that's different for different people, right? Like the guy in the chess club is not looking to be accepted by the jocks. Some of them are. But other chess players are trying to be accepted by a girl, and that particular girl may not ever accept him, and that's a whole other dynamic. But anyway, I don't want to get off on that tangent. The point is, Kanye could never get into that Louis Vuitton acceptance range, I feel like, and that really scorned him. That really drove him mad. Meanwhile, you look at a guy like Virgil, his buddy, now at the helms of Louis Vuitton menswear. That's a big deal, man. Bigly. Huge. And I, in my heart of hearts, I know Kanye is happy for Virgil, but I also know he still feels scorned by that. Not because he's taking it personally on Virgil, but I feel like he's still scorned by, like, what the fuck, man? Like, I was the driving force that led to all this, yet, Virgil got the spoils, right? But I don't know how much of that drives him over just being happy for Virgil. I feel like there's still genuine happiness for Virgil because, like, if Kanye is who we want him to be, then he would be the guy that would be happy for Virgil. And I do think there's a hint of that there. But I also respect if he feels scorned, because I'm putting myself in his shoes. Like, if I went out on this mission and I had this mission statement to change the world, change fashion, change the way people see black people, change the way people see, black people in fashion, whatever. And I didn't end up reaping the benefits of my ultimate goal or grail of, helming Louis Vuitton. Meanwhile, my buddy does. While I'm happy for him, I'm still scorned that it wasn't me. But I say all this to say I think there's a very clear reason why it was so much easier to go with Virgil than it was to go with Kanye on this Louis Vuitton direction. Now, let's set the record straight. I think production-wise, execution-wise, I don't know that Virgil could do a glimpse or a fraction of the impact that Kanye could with Louis Vuitton if he was given those keys. Am I right? Not to say that Virgil hasn't or will not body the Louis Vuitton project. But what I'm trying to say is, execution-wise, I think Kanye had a prime opportunity and a lot more potential than Virgil ever will, and I don't know that Virgil will ever dispute that. But in addition, I think it was so much clearer and so much more obvious that Virgil was the obvious choice for Louis Vuitton over Kanye, because Virgil is Kanye's influence, but without all the hectic craziness and unpredictability. And secondly, he's just more eloquent in his talk and in his speech and in his vernacular, in his communication with other human beings. At the end of the day, we're all human beings. All this ish exists because human beings communicated with each other. None of this happened by a single individual doing any of this. This laptop, this microphone, this connection we have over the internet, these buildings that were erected. None of this happened without human beings, creatures with heartbeats, communicating with each other. Communication is supremely important, and I have never been reminded more of that in my entire life throughout my own experiences, based on my inadequacies in that realm. But that's why I recognize them in Kanye. This is why I feel for Kanye, because a lot of times I understand where he's coming from because I'm listening to what the statement and the messages he's trying to deliver, but he just sucks at delivering that message. You know what I mean? Like his eloquence of speech is just not there. And that's not a knock on Kanye. I'm the same way, man. Like, I don't deliver my message as well as certain other people do. And that's why I fall behind, you know what I mean? Or that's why I get hated on sometimes for certain things I say, or get looked at as a asshole or a dumbass or whatever, is because I don't deliver things the way I want them to. Even though in my heart I think I'm being pure in my message, if it's not received that way, then it don't freaking matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just what it is. And I think Virgil just did a better job and does a better job of communicating and being eloquent in his message to other human beings compared to Kanye. Kanye has everything there, and I think that's part of a good communicator is a guy like Virgil can listen to a guy like Kanye and hear the message and not get mad at him and still be friends with him. Same way that I will respect Kanye's opinions on almost everything. Without losing my cool about it, you know what I mean? Because I'm listening to intent. I'm listening to emotion of what he's trying to reveal in terms of his passions. I'm not literally breaking down the exact words he used and being like, okay, he used this exact word, so that means then he's a bad person. No, dude, you have to listen to the context. You have to listen to the energy of the statement that's being delivered. And I feel like Kanye's just unfortunately not well equipped to deliver that statement the way he wants it to. And I hear it because I fucked up and I have a similar brain where the brain thoughts don't translate into what comes out. And I see a lot of that with Kanye. And so that just was a perfect duh moment for me of like why Virgil got the helms of Louis Vuitton and Kanye didn't. And I don't think either of them is worse for wear. I think they're both doing fairly well with what they're doing. Easy Supply versus Louis Vuitton and Off-White. But again, they're coming from the same umbrella, man. And I'm sure Virgil would be the first to tell you that Kanye has influenced him and helped him and guided him in more ways than he could ever imagine or be thankful for. But it is what it is. And there's a lot more Kanye stuff I want to get into, man, but this is just the surface level. I will end with saying that there's been a lot of shadier-ish with Kanye that I'm starting to question, especially since the whole Drake debacle with Pusha T and Drake's response and the barbershop conversations and poopity scoop details and all that kind of ish. And this is why I would love to have Kanye sitting across from me just to be able to like just get into that head a little bit. You know what I mean? But and hopefully gain his trust to have him open up to me and be like, dude, listen, I'm on your side, man. I want to show you and or anyone that sits with me in their best light possible, without bullshitting anything. Like if you're a bad person, I want to expose that too, but I'm not gonna like attack you. You know what I mean? I'll let you expose your own bullshit, and that's kind of my method if this were to go anywhere. But yeah, that would be my discussion with Kanye. Is like, listen, man, I'm on your team. But you really got to explain what exactly is going on here. And ideally, let's get greedy. Fuck it. Let's have Drake and Kanye here someday to explain this. But of course, by the time I'm making any kind of dent in this conversation, neither of them will be relevant. But that's just how it goes. But I'm sure there's going to be countless examples of this in the future to come that we could discuss. But anyway, yeah, more to come on Kanye for sure. But that's the other topic. So appreciate you guys staying tuned. We'll see you on the next topic, just because I'm going to cut this into segments. But yeah, appreciate you guys stopping by. Let's keep it moving. We out. Bye.